My first question I got for you is, have you ever asked someone to take your virginity?
Yeah, I did. I did. I did actually.
Alright, so what was your childhood like?
What was my childhood? Like, you want a serious answer or?
Yeah, serious answer.
Uh, I mean, I feel like it was unconventional. I stayed with my I stayed with one side of the family first, and then stayed with another side a little bit later. Well, actually, a little bit early on, but not originally. Like I moved from one city to another.
What city you moved to?
I moved to Columbus,
From?
Youngstown.
And Youngstown is in Ohio, right?
Yeah, Youngstown, Ohio. Well, from Youngstown, Ohio, yeah, to Columbus.
Alright, and you said when you moved with family, was that with your mom's side, dad's side?
I came more. Well, I mean, I was still on both sides in Youngstown, but I was more with my mom's side in Youngstown and my birth mother's side in Youngstown. And then I moved now to my brother's side. Yeah.
Alright, how old were you when you moved to Columbus?
Like 5, 4.
So do you remember any time in Youngstown?
Yeah, vaguely, a little bit.
Alright, what memories do you have from being in Youngstown?
I remember my cousin getting shot. And I remember when we thought it was funny, because when we was kids, we thought it was funny he got shot because he got shot in the butt. And he laughed when he was going off to the hospital, but he didn't end up dying. I remember like seeing wild stuff as a kid in Youngstown. One thing I remember is just like people hanging out outside of windows. I remember always like gathering on Sundays at my grandma's house for like a dinner, like a potluck or some type deal. And I remember being around my cousins. Like my cousins, like my brothers, at that point in my time in my life because we were just always around each other. So yeah, that's about it.
And when you moved to Columbus, did you stay in contact with them?
No.
And what did you say? Ended up happening with your cousin that got shot?
He died.
From that gunshot or something else?
From that gunshot, yeah.
Oh wow.
He got shot in the butt. We thought that shit was funny.
So what was it? Just
well, at the time, we didn't understand the gravity. You feel me? We didn't really understand.
Oh, so he didn't go straight to the hospital?
No, he went straight to the hospital, but he even was laughing like on his way to the hospital. But we didn't understand that. You know what I mean? But my cousin got shot in the butt, but he died from that shit.
It was loss of blood.
I hit an artery.
Artery.
Yeah.
All right. So from that experience, then you come into Columbus, Ohio at 5. What does life look like for you the next couple years, or, as you continue to age? And
honestly, it was new. We kind of went into like a blended family situation. With me, and then I met my older brother, and I met my new mom, and you feel me? It was different. But I think it was a lot. It was not even think. I know it was a lot better of a situation than what we was in Youngstown. Me and my sisters. More for, and maybe just because I'm more of a protector, I feel like more for them than me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So how many siblings do you have? I know you mentioned older brother and sisters.
Mm-hmm. One older brother, one older sister, and then I got a younger brother, and 4 younger sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But my younger brother and younger sister, they don't. I didn't grow up with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know how black families be.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like? Give us an insight, because most people don't grow up with that many siblings in one household, or if they do, they're kind of spread out in age. Because your siblings, y'all are kind of close in age, right?
Yeah, my brother is 2 years older than me. My sister is 1 year older than me, and then my sister that's under me, she's only 2 years younger than me. And then they're stair stepped as well. So honestly, it's like it's never a dull moment. It's always something going on. I feel like even with us being well behaved, it's kids, like it's always something happening. I remember one time me and my sister was running in the hallway, and we was trying to beat each other's time. Like we was racing, but the hallway was thin, so we couldn't run next to each other. And she always thought she was fast because she ran track. So I remember I ran and I got like a certain time, and then I was timing her, and I realized like how fast she was running, she was going to beat my time. So I put my foot out to trip her, and she almost jumped through the window on her like the second story. She buzzed right through the window. If she went a little bit further, she would have like went all the way out the second story window. But like stuff like that, I remember we always like on, and at that time all of us was like on a group punishment for something, and we wasn't even supposed to be out like outside our rooms for like that. But yeah, we ended up breaking the windows,
So
stuff like that. It's just
breaking
always
the
something going on.
so breaking a window, that's a
Yeah,
pretty big
especially as a kid.
yeah, that's a pretty big deal in
Yeah.
the household. So walk us through what happened as y'all, you obviously pulling her back through the window,
You
and
know,
then your
everybody
parents
gotta,
finding out about it.
everybody gotta kind of like come together and talk about the story. Those who weren't involved, they just talking. They talking about it, but they not really. They not ain't no really no worries on them. My sister crying, she bleeding, and it's really like for me. I know like it's going down. When my dad get home because he get up early, and he already upset. He gotta get up early, so he go to work at like 4 a.m. He coming home. He want to chill. He get home at like 3. He'd been at work all day, and he get home. He don't want to have to deal with too much, and his daughter is bleeding, and his son is the one who did it. I had to hide. I had to hide. I don't know if I did or not, but I knew like that was my train of thought. You know what I mean? Like it's over with.
Hmm. So when your dad did come home, what was the result?
Honestly, I can't. Number one, all of us, like I said, we wasn't supposed to be out of our rooms. I can't remember. I can't remember, but I probably got. I don't know. I got whooping or something. Probably something like that. Something
Damn.
crazy or got worse punishment. I don't know.
Do y'all look back on this story and laugh about it, or how
Yeah,
was that with it?
yeah, of course.
Hmm.
And I feel like early on, like my parents, they were disciplinarians, but like both of them. But it was really for like the oldest 3. Like we kind of separated ourselves. It was the older 3 and younger 3. And like for the younger 3, they didn't really. By the time they got older, our parents were older and they were more chilled out and relaxed, and they had kind of went through stuff with us to where it was like easier dealing with them, and they were like more they could be more hands off with them because they had 3 girls, so me and my brother probably were a lot more to deal with.
Hmm. And then too, so it's pretty uncommon for black kids usually. Well, it seems like the narrative that's pushed, or at least is mostly common for people or black kids not to grow up in a two-family household. So what was that like having 2 parents, and then as a black boy growing up having your dad in your life? Cause
Um,
you're also a junior, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like where you literally had your dad, a mom, all your siblings in one roof, um, at that point in time, and then
It's
being
almost
the
like
namesake of your dad?
all I know, for real. Because early on, my dad wasn't there because he was in Columbus and I was in Youngstown. But honestly, I grew up with all my well, not grew up. Yes, there were some guys I grew up with that they didn't have their fathers in their life. All like 3 of my closest friends growing up, they had their fathers in their life, and I can see how a lot of the guys I grew up with didn't have their fathers in their life, and I can see how the difference with them and me. One thing I can say is like a clear difference is like you know how like some dudes got that unchecked like aggression. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I know in certain situations where I gotta control my aggression, but then also there's a certain confidence that come with that too. Because if you got a dude in your household who you feel like, all right, I grew up thinking nobody could beat my dad. I can't beat my dad. You feel me? In my head, like you feel me? That's my dad. I can't beat him. But and it's a respect thing. Some dudes don't grow up with that. They grow up demanding their household, so can't nobody beat them. You feel me? They should get their way in all situations, and I understand. I learned the lesson of I can't win in all situations, but then I also got the confidence of you feel me. My dad can beat anybody ass,
Hmm.
even though I don't know. Even though that's not true. It's a certain level of confidence that come with that.
Hmm.
Especially if I pop out with my dad, or nigga, I dare you step in my face. We both gonna beat your ass. That's how like and that's with anybody. And I'm not saying we be like aggressive like that, but that's just the level of confidence that come with that, with having your active father in your life. And not saying other niggas who don't have dads and they like don't have that confidence, but you almost unsure about yourself. Because even though a nigga not checking you or hasn't checked you when you growing up, you've been a man. You still it's still uncertainty there, because it might be somebody out there that can. You know what I mean? I know that. I know it's my pops, but then I also feel like growing up, like nobody could beat him. So
Right. Well, that's real.
yeah.
So, you all right? You gave us a little bit of your family background. Um, at this point in your life, let's go to your high school days.
Mm.
What was high school like for you? Navigating through that whole, what is it, time and point of life, or that whole environment of being a high school student. What was that like for you? Like, what things were you interested in? What music? What type of music were you into? Were you involved in any extracurricular activities? Like, give us a in-depth vision of what it was like for high school for Hobear.
Shit. My freshman year, I was pretty much like, I know people who I went to school with my freshman year. Like, I mean, I went to high school with me that don't remember me from freshman year, because I was just really about school and football. I remember my freshman year I had like a 4.0. But like after that, I kind of got like a little bit more into like girls and popularity or whatever. And but overall, all in all, high school was cool. You know, met some of my lifelong friends in high school. Um, I feel like I was uh, kind of sheltered in high school, or protected, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like certain stuff, certain consequences and stuff I should have faced, I didn't, because just because certain privileges I had. I'm gonna go to. I just had certain privileges that other kids didn't get. So I don't know. High school was overall pretty beneficial for me though.
Right. So I know that you played football in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your dad was one of the coaches.
Yeah.
And so you talk about like the privileges and
Mm-hmm.
being sheltered. What was that like, having literally your dad at home, and then after school, and the extracurricular activities you involved in,
Mm-hmm.
you seeing your dad there, and that correlation between dad and coach.
Uh, honestly, I hated my dad being my coach. I remember I played cornerback, and I played on the opposite side of like our bench, because I didn't want to hear his mouth. Cause he's gonna be my biggest critic, and I would hear his mouth almost after every bad play. I'm hearing his mouth. Good plays too, you feel me there, but after every bad play, I'm hearing his mouth. So I didn't want to even like have to hear that criticism. So I would always go on the other side of the field. So sometimes I wish he would have just been a parent and watched. And he even say that now, like, yeah, I would try to just been a parent and watched and enjoyed you actually playing, instead of critiquing you and coaching you. But it didn't affect like our home life. You know, so like if he was, I remember, even when I was younger, I feel like when I was in Little League, he'd be more upset when we'd be at home, than when he was a coach, because he wasn't really he was my coach in Little League, but not for all of Little League. So it was like he was still telling me stuff when we at home, but in high school, not so much. Like we would leave it on the field for
Okay.
real. Yeah, but in terms of like privileges I had with my dad being there, um, it wasn't really. I didn't have privileges like with football. You feel me? I just like I knew probably certain stuff that other players didn't know, just because I grew up in a football house. My dad watched football, so I just knew certain stuff about plays and coverages and stuff like that. But in school is where I really seen it. I remember my senior year, nigga, we was in the bathroom. Like I had already had, like I had got a scholarship at this point. I had my signing day. They shouted me out in front of the school. We had a pep rally. Like, oh, Robert, he's signing to go to Ashland. Yada, yada, yada. Everybody cheering. But I remember we was in, it was like probably like a week left at school maybe, or like the senior's last day or something like that, and me and this other senior named Patrick, we was in the bathroom in the gym filling up water balloons, because we about to start letting people have it after lunch. So we filling up, and then the gym coach come in there and catch us, and he bring us out, and then the security, like to the security and the school officer, and they tell Patrick, all right, go home. You like, you done. Like, this is your last day as a senior anyways. They sent him home and told me to go back to class. So it'd be like little stuff like that, to where like I benefited from having my, I don't even say that was my dad. It was just the fact that I was I had a scholarship and I was an athlete. Patrick was just a regular student.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad being there, kind of forced me to reach my full potential, in them circumstances at that school.
Okay. I can definitely
because
understand that.
It was no slacking. I always had eyes on me. My I remember my head, but our head coach was also a teacher, and they like to do that. Schools like to do that to kind of to kind of hold players accountable. I remember one time I was in a hall, and it was just, used to play grab butt or grab ass in the hallway with the girls and shit. So I ran up and grabbed this one girl's butt, and but like having a dad add another element on top of that dad that's active in school. So my head coach is in the building, and he see me smack this girl's butt, and he like, Robbie. And I turn around, want me to tell your dad? I like, hell no, I don't want you to tell my dad. I don't want you to tell my dad nothing, no. And my dad would be up at the school like, oh, my son acting a fool. I'll give you my cell phone number. So, like, some of my teachers have my dad's personal cell phone number.
Man, I got something for his
ass.
ass.
So I can't really tweak in class, even though I want to. I had ADHD. I always wanted to tweak. I used to be hoping to tweak. Like, please let me tweak, but I can't because it's like I know I can't beat the dude at home. You ever hear that study that said like the young male elephants are going crazy, raping and being mad aggressive because the older male elephants aren't there to kind of keep them in check.
They need some authority.
Yeah. So like as a young man,
and boundaries.
As a young man, yeah, I want to tweak. I want to act a fool, but having a dad at home that like I can't beat him. Mm-hmm. Some niggas have dads at home, but they don't respect that nigga. I can beat his ass. You know what I mean? I knew I couldn't beat my dad. That nigga used to tell me, my cousins, my brother, whenever you want to try to the title, we can go outside. Like whenever, that's what he used to say. He's like, whenever you want to try to the title, you let us know. Let me know, and we can go outside.
Nah, that's real shit.
I still ain't asked for a shot.
But I think, like, again, that just comes out of respect. Like,
yeah.
Having a dad that you respect in your life, it helps you grow up into the world. One, respecting male authority, and then also having a cool headedness about you where you're not moving solely based off emotion and you're able to think logically and not just out here making rash decisions and because somebody made you mad.
That's what Charleston White was just talking about. He told Cam that shit, like, these niggas is making decisions off emotions they raised by women. Because that's what the women in their lives was doing. But yeah, that's another benefit of having my pops there. But those are things I realized too, because all of my homies I grew up with didn't have their pops in their life. A lot of my homies look at my dad like a second dad, because he coached them too.
Real shit. So we obviously gonna have to bring you back for a second interview. We just don't got enough time because it's a bunch of more questions I want to ask you. But before you get out of here, there is some things I do want to, the last couple of questions I want to ask you. And everybody who knows Hobear knows pretty much what his answer is going to be for each of these questions. So I'm going to run through them real quick.
Fire round or some shit?
Fire round, yes sir. Alright, so G Herbo or Future?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or NBA Youngboy?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or Meek Mill?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or Lil Durk?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or Kodak?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or 21?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or Lil Uzi?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or Drake?
G Herbo.
G Herbo or J Cole?
Ooh. G Herbo or J Cole? Damn, I gotta go with Cole. I'm gonna go with Cole.
Y'all heard it from here, right here, from Hobear. This is Armani Jaquan. We signing out. We'll be back next week with another episode. Peace.
Oh, bro, you gonna do this shit again and again?
I'm just talking shit. This is for the theatrics.